Hello, students. Welcome to today's lecture. In today's lecture, we are going to learn about systems of particles in rotational motion, NCRT section 6.9. This is disclaimer. Learning objective. By the end of this lecture, you will able to understand the concepts of moment of inertia, kinetic energy of rotation, moment of inertia of thin ring, moment of inertia of pair of rotating masses, then parallel axis theorem, perpendicular axis theorem, and radius of gyration. All right. So, in today's lecture, we will cover 6.9 moment of inertia. So, in last lecture, we studied about the center of mass and center of gravity. But in today's lecture, we will learn about moment of inertia. So, today's class, we will start with a question. So, let's start with a simple question. When we apply force on a body, it resists motion due to mass, or we can say inertia. Similarly, when we apply torque to rotate a body, it also resists rotation. Why? The reason is moment of inertia. It is a rotational analog of mass. If we talk about the definition, so moment of inertia of a rotating body is a measure of how resistant an object is to changes in its rotational motion. Or we can say moment of inertia is the measure of an object's resistance to change in its rotational motion about an axis. If we talk about it in simple words, so we can say more moment of inertia, harder to rotate. Less moment of inertia, easier to rotate. All right. So let's talk about an example. So opening a door. So try pushing the door near the hinge. It's hard. Yes or no? Try pushing at the edge. It's easy. Yes or no? Now here question arises, why? Because moment of inertia increases with distance. More distance is equal to more torque with the same force is equal to easier to rotate. So this is the moment of inertia. Let's see it mathematically. So consider a system of n rotating particles. So here we have a system and number of particles is n with their masses m1, m2 and mn. And these particles are uh, perpendicular distances r1, r2, rn from the axis of rotation. So as shown in the figure, so we have a this dotted line. This is the axis of rotation, and r1, r2, r3, and r4 are the perpendicular distance. And this is clear from this illustration. Yes or no? So mathematically, moment of inertia of a rotating body is defined as sum of product of mass of every particle with its square of the distance from the axis of this rotation. The important point here is this square of distance. So if we talk about the particle first, their mass is m1 So the distance from the axis of rotation is r1, and this is the perpendicular distance from axis of rotation. So mathematically, moment of inertia is represented by capital I. So it will be sum of, listen carefully, sum of the product of mass of every particle with its square of distance. Square of distance from axis of rotation. So here axis of rotation is this one, and square of distance, it means r1 square. If we talk about the single particle, so r1 square and product with r1 square. So m r1 square is the moment of inertia of single particle. But in our uh, system having n particles, so the moment of inertia we can define sum of product of mass of every particle. So m1 r1 square for particle first plus m2 r2 square for particle second, or m3 r3 square for particle third. But we have a n rotating particle. So simply we can write it summation I equal to n mi ri square. Here mi is the mass of ith particle and ri is the position distance from the distance of the ith particle from the axis of rotation. So if we want to calculate the moment of inertia of a fifth particle, so it will be what? And I equal to what? M5 R5 square. Yes or no? So this is the simple equation of the mathematical form of simple mathematical form of moment of inertia of n particle for n particle. All right. So remember this: sum of product of mass of every particle with its square of distance from x. So moment of inertia depends not only on the mass but also on how the mass is distributed about the axis of rotation. It means moment of, we can say, moment of inertia depends on mass of the particle, but not only the mass. Here it also depends on their distribution. More mass, greater resistance to rotation, or we can say more moment of inertia. A heavy if we talk about an example, a heavy disk is harder to spin than a lighter one of the same size. Second factor is distribution of mass, distance from axis. So we can say the further the mass is from the axis, the greater is the moment of inertia. Why? Because we know I equal to summation what? Summation m r square. R is the squared. So even small increases in the distance lead to larger increases in moment of inertia. So from this line, it is clear that moment of inertia depends on two. First, the mass of the body. Second, their distribution. All right. If we talk about the SI unit, so you know moment of inertia I equal to mr square. M r square. For m, the unit is kg r square. This is the distance from the axis of rotation. So here r square for meter square. kg meter square. And if we talk about the dimensional formula, so it will be ml square. Ml square is the dimensional formula. Moment of inertia is rotational analogous of mass. All right. Let's talk about the kinetic energy of rotation. You know kinetic energy? Half mv square? Yes or no? So if we talk about the definition, so kinetic energy of rotation is defined as kinetic energy due to rotation of an object around an axis. It means uh, we can say a moving car has kinetic energy half mv square. But what if the object is not sliding? It's it's rotating like a uh, windmill, like a spinning wheel, a rotating fan, a rolling wall. So these objects also have kinetic energy, but due to rotation. Here we have an example. Windmill utilize rotational kinetic energy to generate power. Yes or no? So we can say when an object rotates about an axis, its particles are moving in circles and have energy due to that motion. And this energy is called rotational kinetic. So let's understand it with an example. So suppose we have a body, a rigid body, rotating with angular velocity omega about an fixed axis, as shown in figure 6.16. Here, z axis is the axis of rotation. So rotation of fixed axis, a particle, we have a particle p, particle p, and and that particle rotating about a fixed axis z axis and moves in a circle with center c. So each particle of the rigid body moves in a circle. Yes or no? So for a particle at a distance ri, the distance is ri. So their linear velocity is vi is equal to ri omega. Listen carefully. Here vi is the linear velocity, and the relation with angular velocity is v is equal to r omega. So in this illustration, each particle in a rotating body moves in a circle. So its kinetic energy is half mv square. If we talk about a real life example, so spinning fan, blades are rotating, they have rotational kinetic energy. Rolling ball has translational kinetic energy because it moves forward, and rotational kinetic energy because it roll. So kinetic energy of the particle is ki is equal to half mi vi square. Listen carefully. This is the kinetic energy of the ith particle. We have a system, and particles are rotates in a circle. So we have n particles. So all particles move in a circle. And for the ith particle, the kinetic energy is ki is equal to half mi vi. So ki is equal to half mi vi square. But we know uh, vi is equal to ri omega. So just put the value of v in the formula of the kinetic energy of the particle. So you will be get ki is equal to half mi ri square omega square. Yes or no? Where Mi is the mass of the this relation is very important. So total kinetic energy of the body is the sum over all particles. So summation, we have n particles. So summation I equal to 1 to n ki, or we know the value of ki, that is half mi ri square omega square. So just put here, you will be get summation I equal to 1 to n 1 by 2 mi ri square omega. So this is the total kinetic energy of the body. So in simple, if we express it simply, it will be k is equal to 1 by 2 omega square summation I equal to 1 to n mi ri square. So look at this. So it is the moment of inertia mi ri square. Yes or no? This is the moment of inertia for a system having n particles. So k is equal to 1 by 2 omega square I. Here n is the number of particles in body and angular velocity omega is same for all particles. So in terms of moment of inertia, I rotational kinetic energy. This is the rotational kinetic energy is k is equal to 1 by 2 I omega square. So kinetic energy in terms of moment of inertia, it will be k is equal to half I omega square. This is analogous to rotation translational kinetic energy k is equal to 1 by 2 mv. Now moment of inertia of a thin ring. Now we will calculate the moment of inertia for different shapes. First, we have a thin ring. So consider a thin ring, this one, having radius r and mass m, rotating in its own plane around its center with angular velocity omega. So each mass element of the ring is at a distance r from the axis moving with speed. So we can say V is equal to r omega, or Vi is equal to Ri omega. So kinetic energy of the thin ring, it will be what? K is equal to 1 by 2 mv square, or mr square omega square. So in a thin ring, we know this is a circular object, and all of its mass is at the same distance r from the center. Think of a vehicle wheels, outer rim without spokes. Same. This is a thin ring. Okay. So here all since all mass is at the same radius, the ring resists rotational motion than a disk of same mass and radius. So it stores more rotational energy if spinning at same angular speed. So, but kinetic energy of the body in terms of moment of inertia, we know k is equal to 1 by 2 I omega square. So therefore, moment of inertia of ring about the center is I equal to mr square. So moment of inertia of pair of rotating mass. So here we consider a light rod of length L with a pair of small masses at distances L by 2 from the center, rotating about an axis through the center of mass and perpendicular to the rod. This. So here a light rod of length L with a pair of masses m by 2 m by 2 rotating about an axis through the center of mass of the system, and this is the perpendicular to the rod. So total mass is what? My2 plus my2 is equal to m. So the moment of inertia of this system is I equal to summation I equal to 1 to n mi ri. Now, moment of inertia of a pair of small masses my2 is I is equal to 1 my2 into distance, that is ly2. So ly2 square plus my2 ly2 square. So after calculation, it will be I equal to ml square by 4. Moment of inertia of some irregular shaped bodies about specific axis. First, a thin circular ring radius r and axis is perpendicular to the plane. Look at here. Axis is perpendicular to the plane at center. And the moment of inertia is mr square. Second, thin circular ring radius r and axis of rotation this diameter. And moment of inertia mr square by 2. Similarly, we have thin rod length L. So the axis is perpendicular to rod at midpoint. And moment of inertia ml square by 12. So all the here the moment of inertia of the all body is very important. Fourth, circular disc radius r and the moment of axis is perpendicular to disc at center. Look at here. And moment of inertia mr square. So next is circular disc having radius r. Axis is diameter. Axis of rotation is diameter. And moment of inertia mr square by 4. Similarly, we have hollow cylinder radius r. And axis is axis of cylinder. This moment of inertia is mr square. Solid cylinder radius r. Axis of rotation is axis of the cylinder. This one. This is the axis of rotation. And moment of inertia is mr square by 2. Okay. Next is solid sphere having radius r and axis is diameter. This one. And moment of inertia 2 mr square by 5. Okay. Next is parallel axis theorem. All right. So if we talk about the parallel axis theorem, here a question arises. Why do we need this theorem? So we know the moment of inertia of a body about its center of mass, but we are asked to find it about another axis, which is parallel, but not through the center. For example, a rod moment of inertia is known, but uh, is known about its center. But what about from the one end? So this is the reason. So if we talk about the definition, so parallel axis theorem relates the moment of inertia of rigid body about any axis to its moment of inertia about a parallel axis passing through the center of mass. This one. I center passing through the center of mass. All right. If the moment of inertia of body about its axis through its center of mass is known, so then the moment of inertia about any parallel axis, a distance d away is I equal to ICM plus MD. Okay. So the moment of inertia we can say ICM plus MD square. Here I is moment of inertia about a new axis. ICM is the moment of inertia through center of mass. M is the mass of the body and D is the distance between the two axes. So think of it like suppose you are shifting the axis away from the center. shifting the axis away from the center. So inertia increases because when mass is further from axis, rotation becomes harder and inertia. All right. ICM is the moment of inertia about an axis passing through the center of. Next is perpendicular axis theorem. All right. Now, if we talk about the perpendicular axis theorem, so here again a question arises: why do we need this theorem? Think about it. Sometimes we know the moment of inertia of a two-dimensional flat object like a disk or ring about two axes in the plane of the body, and we want to find the moment of inertia about an axis perpendicular to plane. That's when we use the perpendicular axis theorem. So the statement of the perpendicular axis theorem: for any plane body, the moment of inertia about any of its axes which are perpendicular to the plane is equal to the sum of moment of inertia about any two perpendicular axes in the plane of the body which intersect the first axis in the plane. Or we can say, for any planar object, the moment of inertia about an axis perpendicular to its plane is equal to the sum of moments of inertia about two perpendicular axes. Here, IB plus IC in the plane intersecting at the same point. Here, IA, IB, and IC is the moment of inertia about the three axes. Now, here question arises: when to use it? So, only for two-dimensional bodies like the thin ring, disc, rectangular plate, thin square sheet, and this is not valid for three-dimensional bodies like spheres, cylinders, etc. All right. Yes or no? Next is radius of gyration. So if we talk about the radius of gyration, that denoted by small k. So again here question arises: why do we need radius of gyration? So sometimes a body is made up of many small particles at different distances from the axis. It's hard to imagine where the mass is effectively rotating. So we use radius of gyration, a single distance where we can assume all mass is concentrated and still get the same moment of inertia. If we talk about the definition, so radius of gyration is defined as the perpendicular distance from axis of rotation to a point where if the entire mass of the body were concentrated at that point, the moment of inertia would be the same as that of actual distributed mass. All right. So uh, we can say it is a distance from the axis of rotation at which the entire mass of body can be imagined to be concentrated to produce same moment of inertia. So Moment of inertia of body can be written as I equal to mk square, where m is the mass of the body and small k is the radius of gyration. So imagine this. Think about it. So you are spinning a ring. Listen carefully. You are spinning a ring. All its mass is at same distance r. Yes or no? So radius of gyration is r. But now imagine a rod. Some mass is close to axis, some is far. So radius of gyration tells the average energy based distance. Imagine you are carrying weight on a stick. So if both weights are near your hands, closer to the center and easy to spin. If weights are at ends of the stick, far from the center, hard to spin. That's the idea of radius of gyration. How spread out the mass is from the axis. All right. Now summary. First, moment of inertia. So it's the rotational analog of mass, measuring rotational inertia. Mathematically, will be I is equal to summation I equal to 1 to n mi r I square for n particle system. Kinetic energy of rotation, capital K, represents the energy of rotating body. So K is equal to 1 by 2 I omega square. So moment of inertia of thin ring for a ring rotating about its center, moment of inertia depends on total mass and radius. I equal to mr square. Now here important point. We can say moment of inertia depends on two factors. First, mass of the body. Second, their distribution. Yes or no? Moment of inertia of a pair of rotating. So for two equal masses rotating at equal distances from axis. So I equal to ml square by 4. Radius of gyration represents effective distance where total mass could be concentrated to give same moment of inertia, or it is I equal to mk square. So this is the all about the moment of inertia. All right. Now we have some practice questions, and this is homework for you. So please note down. First, if a system consists of three particles of masses 2 kg, 3 kg, and 4 kg at, at distances 1 meter, 2 meter, and 3 meter respectively from the axis of rotation, find its moment of inertia. So in this question, you have to find out the moment of inertia. You know the moment of inertia for n particle system, I equal to summation I equal to 1 to n mi ri square. Yes or no? Just put the value of m and r. You will be get the total moment of inertia and add this for first particle, for second particle, for third particle. Clear? Calculate the rotational kinetic energy of a body with moment of inertia 6 kg meter square, rotating at angular velocity 4 radian per second. So in this question, you have to find out the rotational kinetic energy. That is half k is equal to half I omega square. Yes or no? So just put the value. I is the 6 kg meter square and omega is 4 radian per second. This is very simple. Third one, if a thin ring of mass 5 kg has radius 2 meter, what is its moment of inertia about it. So again here you have to find out the moment of inertia. All right. Fourth one, find the moment of inertia of two 3 masses, 3 kg masses at the ends of a light rod of length 4 meter, rotating about its center. So again here you have to find out the moment of inertia. All right. Fifth one, if a body has mass 8 kg and moment of inertia 32 kg meter square, what is its radius of gyration? So here a important point. Listen carefully. Kg meter square. So uh, from this unit, it is clear that this is the unit of moment of inertia. We know moment of inertia is I equal to mr square. For m, the unit is kg. For r square, unit is meter. So kg meter square is the unit of the moment of inertia that represents a given term. All right. Here you have to find out the radius of gyration. So all 5 questions are very important for your preparation. All right. Yes or no? Thank you for your attention.